Hi, this is Anthony from okuplay.com, and today we're checking out the Q1-Pro from KIWI Design, which is a new silicone cover that they've just recently released for the Oculus Quest Touch controllers and also for the Rift S controllers as well. So originally KIWI Design used to have these covers here, which are basically just two strip Velcro. They've redesigned these a few times now. Originally this ring used to be a round ring that would go around the top of the controllers, which is a really bad design, I thought. Didn't make sense. I started to wrap it around the top of the sensor ring, but over time that starts to tear. You can see here where I've done it with these ones, and that was my sort of go-to really. I tried the Mammut grips and the AMVR ones, and I just really liked the ability to take this door off, and be able to keep the strap on basically without having to take it off. So that was really a value add of this KIWI design. That makes sense. It felt good, feels good actually in the hand, the original grips. I don't like it that tight, but what's really important is having the ability to, it's really hard to show on the camera, a lot of straps come up this way and you kind of find it hard to bring your thumb out and onto the analog stick. So basically the other grips help with that, the more supple grips like the Mammut and the MVR, because their back strap is elastic, so your hand's got the ability to stretch out and allow you to grab your thumb to touch this top panel here. It felt a lot less restrictive, but they've eventually released the flat ring, so it wasn't so ridged as it goes over the face panel here, but I still didn't like it, so I ended up still strapping it over the top, which I found the most comfortable for me. But they've now released a new version, their Pro Q1, and it's almost like a silicone sock, very similar to the other grips, but what is different to theirs is rather than attach it to the sensor ring, they've got this strap design which is riveted here for strength. This is plastic, so I don't know how well this will last, but there's a buckle here which feels metal, and then you've got the usual Velcro grip, which is a full Velcro, so you've got lots of adjustment there, unlike their Gen 2 of strap, where this was a lot smaller. Sorry, show it to the camera. This was a lot smaller, and then you've got a full strip of Velcro here. The previous one had a whole strip, and I felt that had the best design, but I don't know why they cut that down to half the amount. But not that I needed it all, but it just felt that you got more control over your sort of attachment of the strap around your knuckles. So these are still selling today, but you can pay a little extra more and you can get the Q1-Pro. So as I said, it's like a sock, similar attachment around the knuckle part. It fuses into the bottom here. This is now like a sock, so if you are a fan of being able to access the battery cover frequently without taking the knuckle strap off, this probably isn't for you. But it's got a very nice silky feel to it, as if you like that kind of thing. Access for the grip button and the finger trigger, and this basically folds over the top. So I've attached one already to the right controller, so you can kind of see here how that looks. And it feels great, it feels really nice. I like the fact that this is separate and not attached to the ring. It probably might take a bit of punishment, but because you're not really doing this, there shouldn't be much strain on this buckle here. So it feels good. The only thing I don't like is that this is really loose up here because you're not attaching it over here, you're only attaching it to these 2 points here. So I'll show you how it all comes together, and then I'll just wrap up with a final view of what I think of this grip. All right, so let's get attaching. So I've got my 2 touch controllers here. We have the right one, which is got the KIWI design Q1-Pro already attached. So we're just going to put that to the side for now, and let's focus on this one. So we're just going to take off the existing KIWI Q1 original strap. So very simple. This just loops back through. So we take that one off and put that to the side. The battery compartment, which is probably one of the best designs I've seen on a strap, that reuses the existing strap connection. I think wish more people use this. And then bring this battery cover back on. And now we're back to how you were originally. So let's bring on the Q1-Pro. So it's really, really straightforward. It can't be any easier than literally inserting it into the sock. That's what I like to call it. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So you can see this is all loose, and we can fit this a little bit nicer over this trigger. The grip button isn't perfectly fitting, but that's because it needs to be pretty much moved into place. So that's now into place. And then now we just basically grab these little grommet sticky out parts, and then you've got these little hole sections and they go over the top. So we just lasso them over the top and they stay in place, which is surprising because there's no sort of inside recess for the flaps to fall into, but it just so happens that it works. So they fix into place. This is the bit that I showed earlier. It's a little bit loose. It'd be nice if that came all over the top. I know you've got this trigger in the way, but you could probably have this flap cut around onto this. People might find that as they bring their finger down, but I think most of the time your finger is going to be on the lower part rather than the top part of the trigger. So and that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I think it's quite loose when it comes to you, but for me it kind of fits my hand perfectly. And you can see it has a cutout for the power light when you've actually got the touch controllers actively on. This rubber doesn't really affect the buttons from being depressed. They fit around them nicely, and you can get access to the home button as well quite easily. And the best thing of all, you've got no strap that's coming over this part of your hand. So your thumb's got way more movement to feel less restricted as you're tapping on this controller. So both controllers on. Obviously very easy to get at them, and they ain't going to be falling off anytime soon. So that's a good feel. It feels great. The silicone that they've used is really nice and soft. They're probably not as ridged, so I don't know how well they will fare with a bit of a sweaty session, either for fitness or if you're doing a long session on your Quest. But we'll give it the test of time, and we'll put that down in our thorough review as to how well they cope. But I'm pretty impressed. They currently sell for $22.99. So that's not a bad price. It's probably in the region of all the other grips that are around at the moment. So we've got the original Q1 straps, the Gen 2 ones. So we've seen those, and I've briefly gone over them with that. They don't really sell these on their store anymore. They've really gone full out with this design. So I don't know if they got a lot of feedback that these weren't that great, but I think they were so simple and they just worked. This attachment point here was just so nice, and it's so nice not to cover the battery compartment, and I'd never had any problem with battery compartment sliding on these grips. Let's move them aside, keep them into shot. And we've got the KIWI Design Pro, and then we've got the AMVR grips. They've got a lot more textured compared to this smooth finish, and they're much more rigid, which means they kind of like sit a little bit further down on the controller because there's no section here to go around the grip button, and this sticks out a little bit, and then this thing just feels a little bit tacked on when it goes around the sensor, and I wasn't much a fan. But there's lots of room here, it's very stretchy. This felt good across your knuckles because of this rubber sort of line here that's on the back, so that gave good attachment to the back of your hand. There's lots of adjustment there too, but again, it covered the battery panel, and I wasn't a fan of the AMVR ones. I went back to this eventually. And the very first ones that we reviewed, the Mammoth grips, again, they've evolved these over time, and there's a new DX version now, which is a little bit similar to this in terms of the attachments. But again, this has a textured grip finish. It probably sat a little bit nicer on the controller eventually, but I wasn't a fan of the 2 bungee, and again it just basically doesn't allow you to get easy access to the battery compartment, so I wasn't as much of a fan. They did for now, and then I went to the KIWI, and then I got this, and I went back to the KIWI again, and now we're back to this, which I might just keep for now, but I really wish they took a bit of this design and applied this somehow, and just made a little bit more work on how this attaches to the ring or to the side. I'm not sure how they could do that without allowing the battery compartment to be free, but I'm sure there's an ability there to explore, but I don't think anyone's properly nailed it yet. There's still a lot of people are still trying things out, and some people, like these guys, are just continuing to sell the same design. Mammoth evolved theirs a little bit, but I tried these for a couple of months, but I just found that this and the battery compartment access way more beneficial than these full-on straps in the end. Right, so we're back. We've had both Q1-Pros fitted to the touch controllers. As I said, they feel great. The feel is really nice and silky smooth, the silicone. Just the problem of up here, but it's not really a big issue. It just feels loose, and it'd be nice if it was a bit more nicer fitting up here. So maybe a future revision, we might see this latching system come all the way across the top here to be a bit more rigid, or maybe the plastic was a little bit more rigid up here, thicker perhaps, just to make it finish a little bit nicer. But I like the grips that are separate to the ring, so you're not getting any protruding problems there with sensors being blocked and things like that. I don't think there's any sensors in this area. It starts quite low down, but they should all be they're away from the camera view anyway. The camera can't see beyond these 2 points unless you were to bring it round, but it's got plenty of sensors here to keep tracking, so I don't think they're going to cause any problems. There's also a section on the inner side where you can actually reapply a wrist strap, which is a nice addition, but I really don't see the point in wrist straps on a knuckle strap. It's very rarely you're going to be throwing this and you also want the protection on the wrist. I don't really see the point in adding an additional strap. Other than hanging them up or something, I don't really see any extra advantage of adding a wrist strap to a knuckle strap at the end of the day. So they could have done away with that if that adds more tooling or cost. Could have had that away really, and put a lot more effort elsewhere. They also have slightly longer shape to them. You can just about pinch and feel the extra material, so the actual length is slightly longer. So if you've got a bigger hand, just like most grips that fill the bottom of the grip, they always have an attachment point at the end here, whether it's for a bungee cord or some rope or whatever. But this has got a thicker material just to house the strap in as well, the wrist strap. So the whole handle is slightly longer, but ever so slightly longer. So if you've got big hands, it's good for this too. But I like them, and I'll definitely give these a try out, see how we get on, and look out for a full review on okuplay.com. And like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.